So I'm working on this Final Fantasy 15 review, but nah, I'm not, to be honest, I lied. I haven't started it at all because I need to replay through the entire fucking game first. But yeah, while I'm playing through this 50-hour plus game, I want to get some other Final Fantasy content out of my channel. I was gonna make a Crisis Core review, but I don't feel like downloading a PSP emulator and playing through that shit, to be honest. So I decided to review and rank the 4 episodes from Final Fantasy 15. Those being... Just watch the video, bro. Now, I could give you some development history or something like that, but I'm trying to get my viewer attention up, so I can't really be out here doing that. So, let's get started. So in 4th place and my least favorite DLC, we got Episode Ignis. Now, if I'm being honest, from a story standpoint, Episode Ignis might just be the best DLC here. It made me like his character, and it made what he goes through in the actual game mean so much more. But the gameplay? The gameplay ain't it, bruh. So in this DLC, you get to use his daggers, and you can switch between 1 of 3 elements. Now, at the beginning, playing as him was pretty fun. You can zoom around the battlefield with Thunderbind, use wide range attacks with Frostbind, and Flamebind gives you precise one-on-one attacks. Flamebind is shit. But after like 20 minutes of replaying this DLC, I remembered how shitty the game's combat is, and you guys really need to deep it. Final Fantasy 15 is in no way a complex game, but compared to Episode Ignis, it's a fucking gaming marvel. The attacks feel janky and they don't string together at all. Getting from enemy to enemy is hard, and switching between weapons while attacking just stops the flow of combat. Don't get me wrong, it was fun for a bit, but eventually I just got annoyed at how hard it was to actually fight enemies. The enemies aren't hard, but it feels like the game's mechanics are just working against you. Now, to be fair, even in base Final Fantasy 15 I disliked playing as Ignis, but I came into Episode Ignis with an open mind looking to enjoy my time. And I didn't, because the combat was so disjointed it felt like my impulse weren't even going through, and that is not good at all. Like I said before, the story is fucking phenomenal. I got to see a new side to characters like Ravis that I didn't even know, and the ending was fantastic. But the gameplay brings it down so much, and all the other episodes had good stories, so I'm gonna have to put this one in last place. I can't see myself playing this ever again, to be honest. Also, I don't even remember what you get for completing this. Probably an outfit for Ignis or something. Nigga, fuck Ignis, bruh. Up next, we got Episode Prompto. Now, to be honest, Episode Prompto was cool, but it did have a lot of issues. From the beginning, it was fun as fuck. The gunplay definitely could have been better. I didn't realize how not good this shit was until I replayed the entire DLC. You learn a whole lot of shit about Prompto. I mean, look at what the DLC is called, bruh. Seeing him struggle with the whole, oh, I might be a fucking robot thing is sad, but it's also kind of cool, and him and Arden were a W duo. The weapons they give you are plentiful enough for you to not get bored, but I really feel like they should have stuck to the third-person shooter thing. If they did that, then this DLC might have been in first place, because this whole time I was playing the game, I was just thinking how cool it would be if it was fleshed out properly. The combat is fun, but a lot of the time it feels like the enemies weren't made for Prompto to fight one-on-one. It's awkward as hell to pull out a weapon and start aiming at them, especially when they're fucking chasing you down. You end up being caught in a loop of back up, aim, and fucking crack shot when enemies get vulnerable. And the Raptors SMG, which was my main weapon throughout the playthrough, it felt like shit. The bullets felt like they weren't even hitting, and the main thing is that aiming and moving with it was just uncomfortable. And I wish there was a different way to get ammo for guns rather than just taking new guns from corpses or gun stocks. It makes it so that you never want to use your gun and you preserve ammo. And this isn't a survival horror game, this isn't fucking Resident Evil. Give me my goddamn ammo! Riding around the overworld in the snowmobile was fun as hell, and overall the change in environment was very cool, which is something Episode Ignis doesn't really have going for it. To be honest, I'm just looking for shit that's good about it, but there isn't much. I like what they tried with this DLC, but they didn't fully commit and it suffered because of it. It's definitely not as bad as Episode Ignis, but it's not as good as the next 2 episodes, so I have to put it in 3rd place. Right in the middle. Episode Prompto is fucking mid. On completion, you get Prompto Sundra attire. Dripper drown, that boy is not drowning, bruh. And you also get the Lionheart revolver, which I didn't really need, but who cares. Next, we got Episode Arden. For some reason, this shit didn't come in the Royal Edition, so I had to buy it separately. And that $4.99 hits hard when you work part-time at McDonald's, bruh. Fuck! Quick reminder, bruh, like and subscribe, bruh. I'm gonna... Episode Arden kinda reminds me of Prototype, and that's a massive compliment, to be honest. You get to roam this small cityscape, and in terms of your character, it's the most freedom you've had to move around and scale buildings than any other DLC, or even base Final Fantasy 15. The level at which you get to know Arden is fucking crazy. This DLC shows us so much more to him than we see in the base game, and considering he's the main villain of the game, this DLC definitely adds a lot. Learning about his backstory and finding out what really made him become the villain, Man, that shit's sad, bro. Without saying spoilers, I'd say this DLC is the most important because of what it adds to how you view the base game. And while on the topic of game, the gameplay is fucking phenomenal. Like I mentioned before, the maneuverability Arden has here is fun as hell, and running around the overworld is fucking fun as... Nigga, I need to expand my vocabulary, shit. The combat in episode Arden isn't crazy complex, but unlike Ignis and Prompto, I can't really point out anything that's broken or just bad about the combat. For story reasons that I'm not going to talk about, your only weapons in this DLC are Noctis' Royal Arms. As in, he uses all of them at once. The way Arden uses them and how you move around the battlefield results in gameplay that flows perfectly and feels great. To be honest, this DLC is the one I have to say the least about. I like it more than the last two episodes, but it's not my favorite. But it's still fantastic though. And it might just have the best completion rewards. Once you finish it, you get some Arden drift for Noctis, and you also get this really cool sword. WDLC, but it just can't beat what's up next. And that is the beat drum. Episode Gladios is the best. It's the best episode in this fucking... Out of any of this shit, it's the best. I love Gladios, bro. Gladios, I love that nigga, bro. Gladios, in my opinion, is just the definition of a cool character. Like, look at him. So when I realized there was a whole DLC just about him, getting to play as him, I was happy, bro. It made me happy. In this DLC, you get to find out what Gladios was doing while he was gone and how he got the scar on his face. And in my opinion, this is the most well-rounded episode. The gameplay is great, the story is great, and it does not drag on. It's fucking perfect. But let me stop sucking his dick and let me explain to you why it's actually so good. As I mentioned before, it takes place while Gladios is training with Core. This DLC doesn't go in depth into Gladios' childhood or something like that, but it does explain why he's so loyal to Noctis and why he has to protect him. You get to see how much being Noctis' guardian means to him and the lengths he'll go to protect him. You also get to learn about Core, who is also pretty fucking cool. See that katana nigga? That's one cool ass nigga. This DLC is very linear, but I think it works in its favor. It's cool going through the cave-like environments, and doing the trials or challenges are cool as hell. And the boss fight at the end, bro, is beautiful, bro. The boss fight at the end is fucking beautiful. The gameplay is simple, but it's fun as fuck, and the reason it doesn't get boring is by the time you're bored of it, the DLC is over. The linear environment makes it very easy to play as Gladio, and it makes it fun to use his wide area sweeping attacks. It took me around 2 hours and a half to finish it. No, it didn't. It took me around 1 hour and a half to finish it, but there's other modes you can play, and if you want to get Gladios' rugged attire, you'll have to get 500,000 points in score attack mode. And it's hard as fuck. The first time I attempted it was at like 9 PM, and by the time I was finally done, it was 1 in the morning. But it was worth it, bruh. Oh my days, it was worth it. Gladiolus being my favorite character helps, but between episode Arden and Gladiolus, I think episode Gladiolus is just better. It does everything exceptionally well, and the DLC is just a great time overall. The combat is more enjoyable than Arden's just because of how every attack hits. You can feel the weight and force behind Gladios' moves, and it feels great. So for that reason and all reasons above, episode Gladiolus is the best Final Fantasy DLC. So I gotta tally up the score and do that shit. The end results are first place episode Gladiolus, second place Arden, third place Prompto, and in fourth place Ignis. I did forget to mention the other Final Fantasy 15 DLC. It's called Comrades, the multiplayer expansion. Nah, I'm just kidding. No one cares about that shit, bro. Sorry to all 7 of you Comrades fans out there, but no one plays that shit, bro. So yeah, this was a fun video to make. I'm trying to make longer videos, and that's kind of hard to do when I'm talking about anime. So I'll still make anime videos, but what I really enjoy doing is making gaming videos. So yeah, expect a... Fuck me, I'm out of breath. One take. Expect a bunch of those this summer. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Subscribe though, for real.